Sampson.
Thank you, Madam President. I'll be very brief. I want to say first off that I'm pleased that the amendment passed because I think the first section of the bill was the more onerous piece, and I'm glad that it was taken out. And what we're left with is a very modest change in the current law regarding seniority being preserved if someone is out on leave. The reason I'm getting up is for to make two very simple points. First off, this type of policy is something that I object to just on philosophical grounds. I know that we live in a world where there is a constant desire to create equity where equity does not exist. Every individual has advantages and disadvantages, and that is not based on their race or their gender or age or any of the other qualifiers that seem to be present in the political realm these days. Employers hire people and pay them based on their value to them, much like the conversation that we had about the minimum wage. People pay a wage based on the value of the job that person's doing, not something reflective of the person themselves. I think it's a mistake when we continue to try and categorize people in certain ways to make them equal. Two people who may do the same job don't necessarily deserve the same pay. One of them may have more value to the employer. He might trust one of those employees more than the other, so that if he was ever in a situation where he had to choose one over the other, he would pick the one he trusts more, and therefore he might be willing to pay that person more. That's a value that is added to that person that cannot be reflected in the notion of equal pay for equal work. And that brings me to why I'm standing here, which is simply because of the title of this bill. The title of the bill offends me. I'll just be honest about that. I have been the recipient of political attack after political attack because I supposedly do not believe in equal pay for women or equal rights for women because of the titles of bills that have been before this legislature. And that's obviously untrue. I treat people as individuals. I do not categorize them by race or gender or anything else. I, like many other famous people in our history, including Martin Luther King Jr., I like to categorize people based on merit and merit alone. I don't pay attention to what color they are, their age, or their gender. And when we write laws like this, that's exactly what we are doing. This bill, Madam President, is a modest change. It is not a big deal. It probably is not going to affect anyone adversely. But I fear that the reason why it is here is simply because it is a title that can be used against political candidates in the future, depending on how they vote. I think that's disgraceful. I don't think it belongs in this chamber or in this building ever. And I'm going to vote no on the bill because I'm not afraid of that, because I'm more than happy to stand up and explain to people that I believe in the principles that made this country great, which is freedom and opportunity. And that means for people to achieve greatness no matter who they are, and it also means that businesses should be able to choose how they're going to pay their people based on the value of those employees to them. I will just close by reminding everyone that that relationship between employer and employee is a voluntary one on both sides. They both get to choose whether that's a good situation, and that's what makes our country great, Madam President. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator Sampson. Will you remark further on the bill as amended? Senator Duff.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I just rise as a point of order because of the fact when we debate issues, we do not debate people's motivations. And to say that a bill is designed for a political opportunity or a political mailer or some sort of a political issue is not in line with the rules of our Senate and the body and in what we do here as a circle. So I'd just like to raise that issue and urge members to be careful and to stay within the boundaries of the rules that we have and not to call out individual motivations. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Senator Duff. Will you remark further on the bill as amended? Will you remark further on the bill as amended? If not, Mr. Clerk, kindly call the vote. The machine will be open.
Immediate roll call vote has been ordered in the Senate. Immediate roll call vote has been ordered in the Senate on Senate Bill 765 as amended by Senate A. Immediate roll call vote has been ordered in the Senate on Senate Bill 765 as amended by Senate A. Immediate roll call vote in the Senate.